Let's go for physical beauty. There's nothing wrong with that, and it's one of the most like goals and a whole industry behind this quest, right, for physical beauty, right? So here, close this. What physical beauty which there's nothing wrong, and there's a lot of people that very beautiful bodies, and they are beautiful people, so, and they don't let that physical beauty to define what they are. But here it's saying like that physical beauty can bring like unforeseen treasures for the soul that lacks discernment. So if you can't, if you put the physical beauty as something that defines you, definitely you can can bring a lot of treasures, right, to your life. Excessive money. And I think was interesting because it didn't say money, excessive money, because we need money. Money, it's very important, right? But it is a door, for pauperism. If the one who possesses, he cannot maintain his own balance. So it's really difficult if he, and we see this, right? We see a lot of stories of people that acquiring so much money and they lost themselves, right? That money could bring them happiness, and they could also bring happiness to their community, to society, and use that for progress. But it is a lot of temptations, right? So careful with that. Too much comfort. Interesting. Nothing wrong with comfort. We look for that, but the words that here put is like too much. What happens if it's too much? Disadvantage. If one does not learn the art of detaching oneself from it, because and then it's the problem of attachment, right? You can't, you become like this possessions, and then always looking for comfort, more comfortable. And again, we lose ourselves on those quest for comfort. Prominence. And we see this all the time, right? People that are a lot in the media, a lot, and people get famous. And many times we judge so much that people are there because their lives are so exposed, and everything that like they make, if they make something wrong, and then everyone, it takes a lot for them to overcome, right? The lack of the privacy they have, and they are always there. Everyone knows what's going on with their lives. So like here can be the introduction of to a spectacular fall. We see this, if one does not mature one's reasoning. If one does not mature one's reasoning. So what about too great authority? Spoils the joy of living if the mind does not cultivate the sense of proportion. Like I said, it's putting all these goals that our society search, but always like if you have the balance, and if you also don't make that the only like a goal of your life and the condition also for happiness, right? But if you have balance, if you reach that I would say a stage of evolution that you have the balance and can deal with that, it is a lot of responsibility and also temptations too, but you can deal with that, right? You can use that with responsibility. To have a responsibility can exterminate the existence of one who has as yet not risen above ordinary understanding. And many times we search so much and we fight so much and we put so much energy in trying to get something that God knows that we are not ready for. And then we become frustrated and we become become unhappy, let's say, for not acquiring all these values that in our society, in many societies today, put as like success and happiness. Enormous amount of knowledge. That was kind of tricky for me when I read. In the midst of many ignorant, vulgar, or foolish people, it's a poisonous and bitter fruit if the spirit still has not become resigned to solitude. That was when I found that, wow, because many, even like the amount of depending where you are, can be a source of suffering, and again, not ready for that, right? So we saw all that those values and projects that here on Earth people put as a goals, and that you achieve happiness. But what Jesus said to us, that really the happiness, the real happiness, the one we will have not from those ephemeral, right, temporary things that we have here, is not like all those things. They are just like a stage or instance, and even like tools for our progress. But the real happiness, it's not here. That Jesus already told us. So Joanna put this, and this is from actually the book, the Conscious Being. It's really a great book that I read and studied for this presentation. She put, we always live this paradox in what we seem for what we want, project in our society, and what we really are, right? And then, like she said, humans can and should be regarded as being their own mind, right? And it's interesting because we always pretend, not always, but we are, it is difficult to be ourselves, actually, right? And of course, I think some people are better than that, but I think more and more that we conquer authenticity, like she put here, to really be yourself and show yourself to others. And this is, I found it's really important, and the importance to say no. How many times we done things that we didn't like because we didn't have the courage to say no. even simple things like going to somewhere, going to a restaurant, and then or even eat a kind of food, or going out with some people, but we don't really align with that people, because we didn't want to. We want to please. I would say that we think that we want to please everyone, and no, and sometimes we need to show. We need to say no, because you need to be yourself. I can give one simple example, like I can give myself like example, like in my job, like my work. Sometimes they have these celebrations, and they have always some gathering outside work, and they always have like alcohol, drink beer, and all this, and then like some people, oh yeah, there's beer there, there's that, and I don't drink, right? I don't judge people who drink, but I don't consume alcohol, because I think it's better for me not to do it. And I said no, I'm okay. I sit with some people for a while, and then I and they enjoy responsible like their drink. But if instead of I feel like, oh, what are they gonna think about me? I think I'm like scared, like I don't drink all this, and then I go and drink, I would be very frustrated. It's not me. I'm not gonna be myself, and that will also repress who I am. So it's just a very simple example. It can be in many situations, right? But it's just like be ourselves, be yourself. And for this, definitely what we always read in Joanna book, that we need to know, we need to know ourselves. And for this, for know yourself, what we do, self-love. Because when I accept myself the way I am, that I'm loving myself, right? It doesn't mean that I'm a perfect person. It's not in a egocentric, ego way, but just acceptance, right? What you are, the things that you enjoy, and the freedom to express ourselves the way we are. Okay, so, and then she explaining this quest that we have for this idea of happiness that we have in many of us have in our society, right? Like she said, that crush, right, by conflicts that do not diminish in intensity, modern humans look for escape mechanisms in a vain attempt to circumvent their troubles through outward success, acclaim, and admiration by society. Here she said, like this outward success, and trying to do something that we call like admiration by society, right? And that's what happened, like when we do all this external accomplish that we see in the media, or you see in so many, like, oh, you have to do this and that, it will cause what? Anger and dissatisfaction, because it's not what we are. It's not what we are not. We are not gathering what we really make us happy. We are pleasing like others, or pleasing this idea, or following this idea of happiness. And this is true. It's so much, and it is so like we see like this advertising, we see so much happiness connected or conditional about material gain, right? And this has become like this conflict, and this is like a torment, right? I know that many of you guys read saw like Rosandro tell the story when his neighbor bought a car, and there was a time his life was very difficult. He was living a very tight budget, like a teaching or something, and then he had this dream car. And then one day he got on, his neighbor had his dream car, and he went crazy. He didn't sleep, and he started to making all the getting the money and doing the math and doing, and oh, I need like, oh, if I pay, oh, okay, and if I pay in three, like many years, oh, if I eat only one meal per day. He was insane. He spent the whole weekend in this torment, and his wife was just watching him. When it was in the end of the Sunday, he told his wife, okay, I discovered something. I said, what did you discover? I discovered I'm a very envious person. I said, oh yeah. And then he said, but I'm happy with that. Oh yeah, because now I know I have to work on that. And then he said after that he felt such a relief, like that he spent his whole weekend tormented how he was going to get the car that he neighbor. So it takes a lot of strength and balance for us to not fall for that, right? Here, Joanna talk about pleasure and gratification. And then everyone, of course, it's the goal, right, of our life, like finding this happiness, right? But of course, happiness changes, of course, the meaning. Many times what we want in the past when we were teenagers changed totally. We look back, oh, I have no idea, I never wanted this anymore, right? And then here she said, differing in content among individuals and social groups, happiness is often a very complicated, and definitely it is complicated, right? Hard to achieve proposition. When confused with pleasure, it is mischaracterized and becomes frustrating and torments, because we have it is presented, right, to us this idea of instance, like in search for gratification pleasure. Okay, this is the idea of like happiness, and yeah, it is impossible because we are here for we are just with wrongdoings that we done in the past, grow as a spirit, and going through difficult and sometimes challenging experience. And we have this happiness presented from a materialistic view that you have to live almost in a Disneyland every day. And just like she put again, people's dreams of happiness rose and marked with comfort, idleness, and power, by which they could enjoy well-being and gratification, inadvertently considered as its goal. There's always like have guys lying on a hammock in this teal like ocean, and that's okay. It's a vacation too, but who's going to live like that? And she put this in a book, a lot of people could have a lot of money that don't work, like some rich people can live this, that they are bored. They don't have challenge. They end up being depressed. They end up not having motivation in life. So it doesn't really make anyone happy. just to kind of to explain what is gratification, and then I got this from the internet. Okay, gratification is when you want more and more, particularly when you are able to have the feeling extended needed. Like it's like endless, right? You get something, and then maybe you're happy for a few days, and then okay, I want more. I want now. It never ends, and it never satisfies. Yeah. But what about gratitude? Gratitude is the good feeling like we get, or the expressions of appreciation that we make when something good happens to us. It is totally a different experience. You are so grateful, and you are in this peaceful, like and really really happy state, like of mind, right? So more we get gratitude over gratification, happier we will be. It's an exercise. And she trying to explain, and she talks a lot about like ego and self. And I will explain a little bit the difference between them. I'm not psychologist. I'm here with learning with everyone, but it was important. So consider helps as harmony between the ego and self, the discovery of individuals' profound values, and the awareness that such values are worth pursuing. The choosing of the means of inner fulfillment, it's the next step in that challenge search. So it's like she said, that we try to get this balance between the ego and the self. And we go in this like internal journey, because it's very important for us to find this, because more we live in this exposed to these external values, less we disconnect, right, with ourselves. And she talks a lot about this kind of inner meditation and inner like self knowledge, and know yourself, right? For you really get in this not being so under influence of those materialistic values of what is the means that you are here in life. And here it's important just for us to understand. It's just a very basic and general explanation what is self and ego. Self is that part on which is connected to a higher being, while ego is that sense of self-importance that you have when you compare yourself with others. Self is something typically associated with positive emotions, while ego is attributed to negative emotions. Because if you compare yourself, like ego is always like try to get ahead, to above, more important, and like when you say ego, inflate ourselves. And comparison, what like there's always gonna be somebody like better than you, and then that's okay. But if you always compare with others, it's gonna be a endless torment, right? So just for us to understand the difference, because Joanna just talked a lot about this. So, and she explained when we attain this happiness with titles and worldly success, social standing and power, privilege and money, that have not yet left the periphery of sensual pleasure, responsible for competitiveness, sorry, that's a hard word, and emotional imbalance. And we see this all the time, right? And we need to watch ourselves like every day, because I mean, I see this in workplace, and we live, especially us live in the Bay Area. Oh, yeah, wow. It's a great place. We have a lot of smart, brilliant people, but it's very competitive place. And we need to watch ourselves and to not get into that vibration of this like a material pursuit and like social standing and all these values that you will bring more frustrations in the end, because it's not what is really going to make us happy. And talk about conditions for happiness, which I found very interesting, right? And it's very nice what she put here, like the realization that everything is ephemeral, right? Drives individuals to search for happiness. And it is at this level of conscience that the quest reaches the lofty levels of self-love, inner peace, and spiritual fulfillment, the essential condition for actually finding it. We need to, and to put that condition perhaps, like we're not going to experience this happiness until we really separate and seek out this temporary power, material gains, and all these things that our society puts so much like, oh, happy people have this. This is, it's a temporary, like say it's ephemeral, right? If we have we can use material for definitely a lot of progress, a lot of good things. I'm not saying here, and she's not saying that it's bad, but if it becomes the goal of your life, that's going to be a problem. But when you free yourself from those values and start to conquer, to be more in this self-love, inner peace, and spiritual fulfillment, you are in the right path. And then she keeps saying, and I was like, wow, I'm reading this, and I'm like, wow, this is, I'm already feeling happy just to read what she lined out all the what we think are so nice, and for us to get in this path of the real happiness now. And then she put like, from them on, reflection is frequent, prayer becomes natural, and meditation is a normal means of comfort. This is something that is when somebody is really happy. This is every day. This is natural part of the life, right? And as they mature, individuals radiate well-being from within and start to enjoy happiness. And it's too, like you through this inner peace, you put yourself in a position where all these torment and chaotic things do not affect you anymore. And then all this well-being, you also irradiates, right, for everyone it's around you. And yeah, this does not keep them from having problem, right? But these people, they are managed in a balanced way, no longer cause distress or depression. It doesn't mean we're not going to have problems in experience, because we need to have challenges, because it's the only way we become smarter. We develop intellectually and morally. That's the only way. And then she put here, the finding the plenitude through happiness. Just look at the time. I'm gonna be a little bit faster. Happiness is thus a way of living. And for it to become permanent, it is necessary to attain spirit consciousness. This starts with discovering and striving for what one really wants from life beyond the immediate levels of gratification pleasure. So we look for the happiness beyond, right? Those values, and that when we starting to acquire spiritual value, develop us spiritually. When we search and being better people and helping others, if you're a parent, you putting guiding your kids and through like acquiring these moral values and teaching life lessons that are beyond like titles or money or thing, which it is okay, but only as a consequence of you progressing, right? But not per se the goal of that or your goal in life. And she talks, as you say, she talks a lot about putting like gratification and pleasure, because that's the idea that we have, like putting that's the idea of like this happiness that our materialist society put for us, right? But when she talks on the true happiness, she always talk about inner peace and then acquiring spiritual values. Okay, I have recipe for happiness. It's true. I promise it's true. It is a recipe for happiness. Here, she put that self-identification is followed by the endeavor of inner transformation. We first know ourselves, right? And then go to our inner transformation. And what do we use for this inner transformation? Self-love, self-esteem, and prayer. And then that stimulates what? Discernment, relaxation, and release tension and meditation, which foster inner growth. Everything in the perfect order. Like you go through all this process. And when I was reading this, I said, so much in it today. We live in this chaotic, like every day, like, oh, you have to do so many things. You have to do this, that. But we need this relaxation. And we can accomplish things in life, but not in a chaotic way. It doesn't mean that people that acquire those values don't do anything. Actually, they do even more. But because they have this balance, they can plan they can balance their time, and they don't actually waste time with things that a lot of people keep living this torment, like they don't have a balanced life. So she say that experiment, the self-love, teach self-encounter, and unveils the potential of inner power lying dormant within. Self-esteem leads to fraternity, to wholesome coexistence with one's equally needy neighbor. Prayer increases the ability to understand existence and the true life. Relaxation provides harmony and broad horizons for action. Found that very, very meaningful, right? Like instead of we jump to things like going through this non-stop actions and activities, we need first to reflect. You need to reflect, and that we can do things in a balanced way and with meaningful, because sometimes we do so many things that is not, we don't even know why we're doing. At least it happens with me sometimes. I say, why I'm doing this? Meditation that promotes growth from inside out, broadening one's outlook and opening up one's perception to altered state of consciousness. For anyone who can read Joanna de Angelis, meditation, it's something she always talking in her books. I don't think I ever read any Joanna de Angelis book that she didn't talk about that. It's so important, right? That this calm time that we need. And self-knowledge, like it becomes this growth and overriding necessity in one existential plan. Those who put it off cannot achieve self-realization satisfactorily, for they remain lost in a dark and a no place on the inside. That was like a very, at least this part, very meaningful, because we know that knowledge free, right, ourselves, and open the mind, and especially the self-knowledge, like how important it is for us to at least know where we are, right, and what we should do it to grow. So here I found it's this beautiful message. We're almost in the end of our lecture. Almost 8:40. I'm passing the time. Sorry about that, but I'm putting this. All those who long to become one with the cosmic conscience generate both affinity and animosity. They are always dealing with others people, opposite sentiments. Even so, they stay true to themselves. They know they can always count on themselves and God, of course. It's the balance, and then she also put like what will generate like a happiness, because when you do your best to make your life pleasant for yourself and others, you're not living only for yourself, right? It is important that everything that you do has a positive meaning, that it provides new esteem for you to continue your life. And it is important for your behavior to produce agreeable, kindly exchange with others. If you make your life enjoyable, all your days will be fruitful and sunny. If you make your life enjoyable, this is cause and effect, which means happiness. It is a effect of our work, what we do. It's just not just happening. It's what we do is going to bring happiness with us. And here she put this beautiful message that we keeping. This is just what we talk about, and I will jump to books that I use, and I will stop sharing and